So thank you, sir. I think we should start now. So for yes, so thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation first. And today, Dr. Kuldeep Singh sir is with us, and sir is the Dean Academic and also the HOD of the Department of Pediatrics. And also, sir has completed the MD and DM boards from the Lucknow. And sir is having the various national and international research, and sir has innovated the few technology examples. Sir has developed the device for the sweat chloride test, and also the sir has got the various awards. And there is a long CV basically, sir, which has sent, and we are really very lucky that we are having such a great speaker today. So thank you so much, sir. Now, sir, you can start.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank Games, Dr. Rekha, for inviting me for this guest lecture. And this guest lecture is a little different. It is offbeat. It is different from the usual lectures. So I'm just going to show my slides. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So the topic which I have chosen for this guest lecture is innovations in the healthcare. Now, innovations during the COVID time has become a buzzword. Everybody is talking about innovation, but there are certain things which are important for the innovation, especially in the healthcare. So I will highlight some of these important aspects, some of the important things which are useful for the medical students, PG students, as well as the faculty members also. And I think this is a time that medical people should also uh, put their efforts in the healthcare innovations. So this topic is close to my heart, and also since I am working in this area, and we have motivated our student also to join this program, and they are working in many innovative area, which I will highlight today. So basically, as we know that the people's health is the most important, it is essential for the development of the country. So when we talk about the country, then the health becomes the most important asset. And I think this is the most important thing which is missing in our system. The people are not having the health consciousness. Health seeking behavior is very poor. So our innovation should be targeting about those areas in which innovations will help in seeking enhancing the healthcare behavior. So we are also experiment with some of these areas which are known as the nudge or behavioral economics. And during the COVID time, it has seen a large movement. That is how the nudge can be used to influence the people. We know that the cost of the healthcare is very high, and although it is much cheaper than that in the Western countries, but it's still high for the average Indian citizen. So that's why the innovations are required, which will reduce the cost of the healthcare. Now, most important thing about healthcare innovation is that they should be low cost, validated tool, which will also be economical in the long run. Since COVID-19 has accelerated the pace for the opportunities for innovation, so I think this is the right time that we also should start thinking about the innovation in the healthcare and how the medical students and the institute can be a part of these innovations. That is, I will go to discuss about this. So when we talk about the innovation, there are many things which comes in our mind. One is that dictionary meaning of the innovation is the new idea, method or device, or it is introduction of something new. According to the Cambridge dictionary, the use of a new idea or method, whereas the Wikipedia says that it is a original and more effective. But the business dictionary says that the deliberate application of the information, imagination, and initiative in deriving greater or different values from the resources. So when we talk about the healthcare infrastructure, we may say that our healthcare infrastructure is efficient. It is not so. Only thing is that we are not innovating. and maximizing the use of these resources. Our country is rich in resources, whether it is the manpower, whether it is the patient, whether it is the resources, infrastructure, but we are not utilizing it to the fullest. So that's why the innovations are required in that direction. So there is a difference between the innovation and the invention. When we talk about the innovation, it is more likely to be a novel implementation or for a new invention. Whereas invention is a novel product or solution. So when something is designed for the first time, it is considered as the invention. But when the existing technology is used or existing resources is used, that is known as innovation. And the innovation is that it reduces the cost or it becomes more economical, it becomes more user friendly. The invention, innovations, and imitations must be driven to satisfy a specific need that is not fulfilled by the existing product, techniques, or the process. Another word which is being long used since 1995, when Christensen has uh, coined this term, which is known as disruptive innovation. Now, disruptive innovation is a word which we use when the outcome of the invention or the innovation is much more than the existing product. Suppose before 1990s, there was a telephone line, the wired telephone line were existing. Then the mobile came and it has disrupted the way we communicate with the people. And now there is no disruption, it is only the improvement in that technology. So that gradual improvement in the available technology is now innovation. But the disruption has happened between 19 to 90, 2000 when the mobile technology has developed. So any disruptive technology started with a low cost, but it surpasses the existing technology which are high cost. That is known as the disruptive innovation. So now we are seeing a lot of disruptive innovation in the automobile sector. Even in the healthcare, there are disruptions. Now with the use of the artificial intelligence and machine learning, we are minimizing the cost of the healthcare. There is a task shifting from the high-end doctor specialist care to the low-cost AI-driven material. So that is also can be considered as a disruptive technology or innovation. So when we talk about the medical innovation, how they are different, the sine qua non of the health development, this is very important. Then they are public good dimension. They are discovery supported by the public sector. Drug development among the medical innovation is a long, expensive and risky. Now we are coming across the vaccine development. We are seeing that it was announced in last year August that the vaccine will come in 2 months. But we know that the vaccine development is not a so easy process. Even the vaccine nowadays for the COVID are still in the developmental stage. Similarly, drug development is a long, expensive, and risky process. And end products are protected through patents. So patent law is also one of the important hindrance for the development of the healthcare technology. And the end products in the medical field are strictly regulated. And also there is ethics involved in that. So there is a equitable access to the innovation is critical. So when we see this figure, then we can see that the regulations are important because they depend on the final patent application. Timeline ranges from product may start in 1994 and may see only the life in the 2003. Similarly, phases of the drug development may have a long animal testing, then toxicological and pharmacokinetic studies, then chemical development, and then the human trial. So this is a long process which may be costly. So the innovations can reduce is with the help of like innovative model, innovative testing technologies, or the laboratory on the lab, or a organ in the lab development that can also enhance the development of the technology. So that's why this medical innovation is different from the other technology. More importantly, that when we talk about the other technology, they may be costly, but they have the much risk. Whereas when we talk about the human exposure, that is more risky. We have to consider each and every individual before trying any drug or device or a policy or a resource because that should be safer to the individual. It should not be detrimental to the health, neither in the short run nor in the long run. So that's why they are risky and takes a long time. When we talk about the product development, the healthcare innovation, then the most important is the initial idea start from the end user. So end user is the basis for determining whether there is a healthcare need for a innovation or not. Then our thinking goes to form the novel idea. This novel idea give rise to product development, and this product development ultimately leads to laboratory testing, either in the medical institute or an engineering setting. Then it goes to the clinical setting. That is, it comes back to the hospital, and then it is after initial validation and piloting, it should go to the regulatory approval from various agencies. Institutional Ethics Committee and the DCGI are important approval regulatory approval authority. Then it goes to the market, and then we have to take it out in the clinical practice. So this is a long, tedious process of biomedical innovation pathway, and ultimately the cycle does not stop here. It goes to the post-marketing surveillance. Whether the product is there, it is user friendly, it is having no side effect. So nowadays, what we are having this COVID vaccine is a post-marketing surveillance of this is going on. What is the impact of this vaccine? What is the cost? And how much reduction of the cost is possible for this vaccine? Similarly, when the biomedical innovation ecosystem is being considered, then the most important is the health provider. And health provider get all the information from the end user. Then they involve the engineer and technologist. Now, when we thought about the health provider versus the engineer or technologist, we find that the health provider is in a very crucial stage, crucial step, because the engineer or technologist will not consider. Suppose we think about the spacecraft which was sent to the moon. Even if it is thousands crore, it is lost. Nobody will complain about that. But whenever is a person in the OT dies, then there is a hue and cry from everybody, from the general public to the whole of the country. So that's why when we are talking about the healthcare technology, it should be like strictest guidelines for the safety is to be ensured. So for the healthcare worker, we have a easy access to the patient. So we may consider that it is a cheaper availability of the resource. Whereas on the engineering point of view, they require a lot of cost because they have to first of all develop the prototype. So there are some gadgets are involved in that. Then they have to develop the fabrication of the product. Then they have to quality improve that product so as to it becomes more handy and usable by the public. The technology is then taken to the technology institution where the testing laboratory tests the uh, various parameters, whether it is going to affect the human being to what extent. Then it comes back to the healthcare institution where again the regulatory bodies, now the regulatory bodies approve and it goes to the industry. No, the industry should be the takers. That means that there is a whole important team of the industry, academia, and technologists are involved. So the industry people are important because they can fund the project, they can fund the innovation, and they can also carry out the further trials in the community. So then industry people advance, manage it, and then it becomes more user friendly to go to the health facility. Then ultimately it is implemented on the health use end user. And ultimately there is a multiple agencies which are buying for that product. So it is a ecosystem, biomedical innovation system is a long process, but again, the ideas are usually obtained from the end user and the health provider. So you can see that the end user, health provider, and the engineering technologist, they are the most important component of this ecosystem. Now, COVID-19 has created an immense opportunity for innovation. Now everybody is talking about innovation. When I am sitting at Jodhpur and I am able to connect with you in Bhuj, this is because of the enabling technology. Because I was talking about the online teaching for last 4 years, but it was not being acceptable by anybody. But now during the COVID time, there was a need was created, and this need created the invention. Now everybody is inventing some of the other methods for education, for virtual conferencing, for like reducing the distance between the countries. So in the healthcare also, there are a lot of innovations are happening nowadays. So this is one of the device which has been developed uh, by our student in the IT Jodhpur. I don't know whether this video will be seen by you or just play this video. So this is a self respiratory device which is automating automation of the self-inflating bag. So when the patient is being transported in the ambulance and the patient is having some respiratory arrest, for the time being till the patient is transported back to the hospital, this AMBU bag, which is earlier being manually controlled by the human being, is being controlled by this machine. So it just require a little power and this AMBU bag which can be providing the respiratory support to the patient. So this is one of the innovation which has been developed and validated with the IIT Jodhpur. Uh, Now there is PGI Chandigarh has come out with a device which is a little extra from that. That is the ABCD, Artificial Breathing Capability Device. It has a maneuver to control the expiratory pressure also on the device. So there are other devices which have come out during this time. They are ventilator spiritals. We were talking about the ventilator, but as a medical profession, we know that the ventilator were not useful for us in the COVID time because the ventilator requires a lot of resources. It is not only the ventilator which are important, it's the human resource which are also important. And not only the human resource, but the trained human resource is the need of the hour. Because one ventilator requires at least 12 or 13 people, including the paramedical staff, nursing professionals, and the doctor, to give and save the life of the patient. So ventilators are not the cost-effective method of saving the life during the COVID time. But the people have used one ventilator to provide support to the two person with the help of ventilator splitters. Similarly, the oxygen delivery splitters have been developed because there was a situation in the during April and May where the shortage of the oxygen was there, and one cylinder can be used for multiple of the patients. So people have developed some of the innovative devices for splitters for the oxygen. Then the time has come, and now it is the most important thing. This is the oxygen blenders. Oxygen blender are very important for the medical profession because we can regulate the saturation of the oxygen also, not only the flow but the saturation. Because giving 100% is not needed in every patient. We may require just above 21% to 30%. So 30% oxygen is enough to maintain the oxygenation of the patient in the early stage of the pneumonia. And as the patient deteriorates, we can increase the oxygen concentration in the flow. So these blenders are low cost. They are costing just 2 and 2.5 lakhs. Compared to the ventilator, the cheapest one will cost around 10 to 12 lakhs, and the higher version may cost around 35 to 40 lakhs. So that's why this becomes very important. Another issue which were discussed during this time was oxygen concentrator. So the people have experimented with the oxygen concentrator, how we can prepare the oxygen concentrator which can be used, and they are the cheapest device for the oxygen delivery. Although issues are that they cannot give a oxygen above oxygen with a flow rate of 10 liters per minute. So that's why there are some limitation. But in the early stage, with the help of the medical profession, we can use this to our opportunity for providing care to the patient. Many areas have been developed in the case of face mask. Variety of face masks are now available, both for the prevention for the COVID infection and also providing the face mask to the patient for the oxygen delivery. And also there was a time there was a huge interest in the sanitizers, the type of sanitizers. So many experiments have been done on the sanitizer. So these are the some of the innovations which have been carried out during the COVID-19. Now, at AIIMS Jodhpur, some innovations have been carried out, and the most important thing at AIIMS Jodhpur we have done is that India and Sweden, there was a joint collaboration, and they have made a India-Sweden Innovation Hub at AIIMS Jodhpur under tripartite agreement. So in this, the AIIMS Delhi is also part, AIIMS Jodhpur, and the Business Sweden of Sweden is involved. The, the taking into account the AIMS Delhi is because they have a rich experience of the last 60 years. So, but the hub has been created at AIMS Jodhpur, and the what we are doing at AIMS Jodhpur is that we are having the innovative pillars in the form of protocols and the process development, data acquisition, technical solutions, and developing the business models. And also the we are participating in the phases of the innovation, that is early stage, mid stage, late stage, or scaling up the innovation. We have the foundation from the with the Ministry of uh, Health and Family Welfare, and they are supporting us with the memorandum of understanding. And this is helping the innovators to pitch in and to develop some of the devices which are useful for the healthcare. The structure of this service at AIMS Jodhpur is that we are launching the innovation challenges every year. So last year we received around 450 applications from the startups, out of which shortlisted were 250, and among them 40 were selected. And ultimately, after detailed discussion with all these 40 people, we shortlisted 10 innovation and 4 innovation from the AIMS Jodhpur. So 14 innovators have been selected, and they are being incubated at AIMS Jodhpur. We are providing, as a faculty members, mentorship to these people. We are also having the educational component, that is the skill for skill. Means that the if some skill is there for diabetes detection or cancer detection, we are scaling it up to the community level. And also we are a bridge between the innovators and the industry people. So we are providing the uh, communication to the industry people to provide the funding to these startups. And also ultimately our goal is to reach from the local to the global, and which we are doing through the conferences, showrooms, and there is a think tank which is consisting of AIMS Jodhpur and the AIMS Delhi and the Business Sweden, along with the Niti Aayog. So these are the things which are functioning for the innovation. So when we talk about the innovation, we should not think about the idea only. There are other things which are very important, and these components like startups, the innovation centers, incubation center, they are very important, along with the mentorship guidance, which is very important. Apart from this India Sweden Innovation Center, at AIMS Jodhpur, we have also started last year a very innovative program, which is known as the Joint MedTech Program. So AIMS Jodhpur and IIT Jodhpur, being located at Jodhpur, we have jointly for the last 4 years we were in discussion, and with the Senate approval from IIT Jodhpur and the academic committee and governing body approval from AIMS Jodhpur, we were able to launch it last year. And again, we got 400 applications for that, and we have selected 30 participants. So the 10 students are for the master's degree, 10 students are for the dual degree, that is the master's, then they go for the PhD, and the 10 students are for the PhD program. So this is running very well, and this year we have again advertised, and we have got a lot of application this time also. Tomorrow there is a written test for that. So, medical student can also apply, medical faculty members can also apply, and the basic tenet of this program is that to develop the entrepreneurial skill. And the most important component of this program is the clinical immersion. Although as a medical profession, as a clinician, we know what is the clinical medicine is, but for the other people, it is not so much known. So that's why this program is known as clinical immersion. So clinical immersion is a part of the multidisciplinary program which produces the deep tech innovators in the field of medical technology. And the learning outcome for the students during this course is they will develop the team and leadership skill. They will develop the professional lifelong learning skill through the professional interaction with the clinical staff and experience in the healthcare setting. Students will team up and will learn the fundamentals of the practice need-based clinical observation and device commercialization assessment. So these are the some of the components which are like when we are dealing with the patient, we just think very narrowly about the patient only. We never think about how we can help him further. So here the clinical immersion comes when we think about as a team. So it is not the clinician, it is the other faculty members in the our institute, and also the technologists and the industry people. So all these three together, they come together and they work together to form out solutions which can develop these innovators for developing some low cost devices which can reduce the cost of the health in the long run. And also they are in search for the clinical needs, and for that the medical students are the most important source, because when we are dealing with the patient day in day out, we know about the each and specific need of the patient. The technologists may not be knowing. They may develop a ventilator, but unless until it is experimented in our setting, they will not come to know that what are the drawbacks of the ventilator. So that's where the doctors are important component, and the innovation center should be located in the medical institute where they can be experimented directly under supervision toward the safety of the patient. So, AIIMS Jodhpur prepared a COVID response team last year during the start of the COVID in 2020, March, uh, 15th of March. And then we prepared our system. We trained our manpower. We trained our medical students. We prepared the guidelines, and we did the preparedness. What is expected in the future during the COVID time? So in this, we had the support from AIIMS Jodhpur was supported by DRDO, that is the Defense Lab, and IIT Jodhpur. And they were together developing some of the solution. So during this interaction with the IIT Jodhpur and DRDO, we developed these devices. These are the personal protective equipment. This has been published also. This is a low cost fabrication which has been developed by the institute, which is safe also. And there are two types have been developed: reusable and disposable type. So they are now available at a very cheaper cost with the help of industry people. Industry came forward and they supported this. We also developed the face shield, which are 3D printed from the IIT Jodhpur, and they are also very low cost and can be developed very fast. We also, along with the student from the MBA Engineering College and IIT Jodhpur, they have developed an algorithm for detection of the cases of the pneumonia, which can be certified as COVID pneumonia. Although this is still in the learning phase, because 20,000 minimum data is required for do a prediction. So still it is going on. This has been commercialized by some of the companies also, but we have experimented with the help of the medical student and the engineering student. We also developed the low-cost protective devices for the patient care in the ward, in the OPD, and in the screening OPD. We also developed and transferred this device, which is known as Abhedya. This is a device for intubating the patient who is COVID positive, because there is a lot of aerosol which is generated. So this device protects the anesthesiologist and the critical care person from the aerosol generation. And this has been transferred to the one of the industry person, and they are marketing it to the wider population in the country. Along with this medical device, we also innovated with the medical education. Our institute became the first institute in the country to initiate the online medical education from 23rd March. And we use the quality improvement in that also. We initially started with the whole of this session conducting online, then we found out problems, and rapidly within the 7 days, we reduced it to 3 hours duration with the same component. And we also use the reverse telemedicine, in which the patient is in the hospital under our care and the students are sitting in their hostel or home, and the students are interacting with the patient through the this device, and they are asking the history and making the diagnosis. The examination findings were provided to the faculty member. So the patient is also safe because he is under the supervision of the faculty members and the clinician, and the student is also safe because they are sitting safely in their environment without being exposed to the COVID. And along with that, we also experimented with the micro teaching. Online micro teaching was that we recorded all the lectures of the faculty members. With their consent, we distributed some of the faculty members who can give the response that what is good thing in that lecture and how it can be improved. So this was a micro teaching, and based on that, the feedback was provided to the faculty members. It led immensely to the enhancement of the PowerPoint slides, the way of teaching, the mark reduction in the class time, interaction with the student. And we also became the first institute in the country to start the offline board class of the 2021 batch. So we started from right from the 1st December 2020, the 20 batch. Sorry, this is not 2021, 20 batch. And we followed a strategy that is they are safe when they are called in the hospital. So their dual testing was done at the time of the coming in the hostel and after 5 days in the hostel. So in that way, we were able to prevent the COVID infection among the students. These are some of the innovations by the medical student. On the left side, you can see that this is a squat tool. This is a device which has been developed by the fourth year medical student with the help of IIT Kharagpur and the ICMR. They provided the 2 lakhs fund and they have devised this, fabricated this machine, this delivery table. The mother, the pregnant woman can even sit in a squat. So the delivery is facilitated and there is less complications. On the right hand side, there is a device. This is a team from the MBA Engineering College and our AIMS Jodhpur. I'll just play this video. So they have made a bot. So then they have made the prototype and they have come out with the final design. So these are some of the instrument which has been developed and there are many other which have been developed by the IIT Jodhpur and AIMS Jodhpur together. Another center which has been allocated to us by Department of Biotechnology is the Center for Biodesign. So this is a jointly by the AIMS Jodhpur and IIT Jodhpur. Uh, it has a project of 3 crore which has been allocated to us and this will provide a fellowship for 10 candidates. Anybody having the medical or engineering background can apply to this 1 year of fellowship. During this fellowship program, they will learn and develop models in the biomedical device for entrepreneurship. And faculty from AIMS Jodhpur and IIT Jodhpur will mentor, guide, and provide clinical environment to these students. But it is not so easy that we think about the innovation and the healthcare, and it is very easy. It is not so. There are challenges also. When we talk about the challenges, the technology development in other areas other than the healthcare requires heavy investment. So suppose if you have to develop a spaceship which can land on the moon, lot of efforts and lot of technology is required. But it is for the welfare of the whole of the country. So a lot of investment is required when the fabrication, the initial testing, and the degree of the precision is required in this. But technology developed in the healthcare is much more than that. It not only requires the precision, but also the strict norms for the safety, strict regulatory authority approval, and the ethical consideration. So we should be morally correct whether it is going to help the mankind or not. So that's why the healthcare becomes much more important ultimate than the ship landing on the moon. So that's why the doctors have a more challenges. The technocrat has a more challenges when they are devising the product. The only thing is that there's a digital divide, or there's a divide between the technologists and the medical professions. What the technologists complain or that the doctors are usually egoistic. They think that they are knowing more and they never think about the collaboration. Whereas as a medical profession, we think that they are not coming to us and there is a gap between the technologists and the medical profession. So this is the greatest challenge. And what we have learned for the last 4 years interacting with the IIT Jodhpur, there are good things about both the institute, but there are also challenges in the both the institute. And somehow we have to think about those challenges and overcome those challenges to provide the better care for the healthcare. And I think this is a time which is ripe time for venturing into the healthcare innovation. And when we think about who is more important, it is not like this, it is a teamwork. But again, I can say that because we are dealing directly with the patient, so our judgment and our responsibility is much more than that of the technologist. Because the technologist will prepare it, but ultimately the end user depends on us. So that's why it is very important to understand that how we can help the technologist as a medical professional with the ego on the side. So that is the biggest challenge which we have come across, and still we are facing the same challenges because there is a dialogue between the engineering and the medical profession is very less. But important consideration is when you are talking about the idea, don't think and jump that you are the first one who have made an idea. There are thousands of other people in the world who are having the same idea, similar idea. So that's why it is very important to find out who else is thinking about those ideas. Here comes the role of the research. It is a research which is like Google search, PubMed index, PubMed search, or the finding out some of the collaborators, which can give rise to more of the ideas. Sometimes it is said that instead of the reinventing the wheel, we should develop, we should go on a high step on the wheel which is already existing. So that's why for the medical profession it is very important, and the research is more important for the medical profession. Extensive research on these ideas is requirement because when we thought about these ideas, they appear to be very trivial. Suppose when we talk about the robot, so it is already existing, but then we have to think about how to make it more user friendly. Here comes the role of the technologist. And another consideration when you are thinking about the innovation in the healthcare is enthusiasm. You should remain enthusiastic because there are a lot of ups and downs. When you are doing something new, there may be challenges. There may be some people who may be discouraging you with that ideas. Okay, again, maintaining the motivation and enthusiasm is very important. And lastly, the teamwork and collaboration. So this is an essential part of the MedTech program. That is, unless until you have a team, you will never progress. So we should start thinking about the team right from the beginning, and the team can expand further. It may that the team has a more idea, and they can provide more richer environment of their experience. So the take home message from this presentation is that I will sum it up, although it is just a simple line. If I have a if I've thought of an idea and only one turn out to be good, I'm satisfied. That was what Alfred Nobel thought of. And then he started with this Nobel Prize for the innovations and for something new in the world. and this is a Swedish scientist who had made this Nobel Prize. So you should think about the ideas, but even thinks about a lot of ideas. Every day you should be bringing with us some of the ideas. And if the one of them is successful, then and it is helpful for the society, you should be satisfied. And I think people will be satisfied. So that is a most important message I would like to give through this presentation. And now I will be ready to answer any questions or query you may have. Although I have touched upon a very small aspect of the innovation in the healthcare, but when you go out in the deeper into this area, that is known as deep diving, you'll come across there are so many things in that area. That is Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, virtual learning, virtual surgery, robotic surgery, and the no-touch technique of surgery. So there are so many things which are there, but only the limit is the sky, and you have to think about those great ideas which can help the mankind. So I thank you all for this listening to my talk, and I will be ready to answer the questions.
So thank you so much, sir, for giving us such a wonderful lecture. I think it's going to be helpful for also because our institute is in a growing stage, and I think this is a wonderful lecture to follow. Our respected dean sir is also with us, so thank you, sir, for coming. Sir will give also the other talks also. So sir has completed the DM in genetics. So, sir, next time we will plan a lecture if possible. Topic should be covered as a genetic in the genetics.
Yeah,
Thank you,
definitely.
sir.
Sure, sure, sure.
Thank you, Dr. Kuldeep. I'm Dr. A.N. Ghosh. I'm the Dean of Gujarat Adani Institute of Medical Sciences, and I'm a microbiologist with a deep interest in molecular biology. So, I would like to thank you for this lovely talk, which is going to set the minds of young researchers of us, and definitely would like some more inputs and some more lectures from you to keep the interest among the younger generation who can take this vision of innovation further. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the appreciation. And definitely, we'll be ready to help and collaborate in any area. And as Dr. Rekha was saying, that genetics is very important. And nowadays, precision medicine, genomics are important area. And at our institute, we have a DBT funded Nidan Kendra, that is a National Inherited Disorders Administration Kendra, in which we are providing the low cost genetic diagnosis to the patients, to the people of the Western India and Rajasthan. And also we are part of the another project that is the genomics, the genome mapping, India genome mapping for the healthy population. So that is also one of the area, and we have a lot of other researchers also at M Institute which are a part of that program, and we are starting the DM in medical genetics also. So this time we have one seat for medical DM medical genetics. Any pediatrics medicine or obstetric resident can apply if they have completed their MD in the medicine, pediatrics, or obs and gynae. So this is also, we are using some innovative method of teaching the genetics at AIIMS Jodhpur with a like flipped class method, flipped learning. That is the some of the materials are provided to the student beforehand, and in the class there is interaction and hands-on experiment. So this is also with the funding of the ICMR. So we'll be able to share all these new things about the genetics education also in any of the future classes if the student desire and the faculty desire. Thank you very much, sir.